Greetings and salutations. This is Rick Koppel, now from the Not a Linux Guru Guy channel, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Now today I wanted to talk to you about Debian again. Yeah, I had to clear up some misconceptions, false information I gave out. Not really false, but incorrect, I guess I should say. And as well as I wanted to let you know that I made Debian my daily driver. Successfully installed on my laptop. So I want to talk about that process and clear up some things or misconceptions or problems I have with it later. Right after the intro. And I wanted to let you know that I did use Debian for my daily driver now. That's what I'm using. I was able to get past the problem with the Wi-Fi installation. And I'll tell you all about that in a minute. But first I wanted to go through several issues with Debian that I had. And yeah, one of the things I wanted to clear up was that I kind of gave a method for putting on sudo, user on sudo, which is technically it works when I did it, but it's not exactly the right methodology that you should use. I'll go over that in a minute. Also, I wanted to clear up the situation I have with the how to enable Debian for the add user and other things in the SBIN directory to work correctly. I need to clarify some on that too. Like I said, the way I said it works, it's what I've been using for all the time. I found a more correct and proper way to do it. So I'll explain that in a minute. But anyway, one of the things I wanted to get also is that when I installed Debian, I decided to go with a different desktop and cinnamon for a while. So I tried it out and I used KDE Plasma, which after I was starting to get to like it, the only problem I had with it was something I initiated or something, I don't know what it was, but kept popping up this wanting to log into Google thing over and over again. It wouldn't log in, but it wouldn't allow me to cancel out. It kept popping up, so I finally had to get off of it. But anyway, I did like KDE Plasma overall. I like the look of it, and I like the way I had to figure out some things on a different from Cinnamon, which is what I'm primarily used to. But once I figured those things out, it was a pretty cool system, I think. I could have made it my daily, whatever you call it, daily desktop environment, daily driver or your desktop environment. I could use that for my desktop. But a couple of things I like about it. I like how Cinnamon cascades your menu up, whereas KDE has more click everything. Go to check it out. You can't easily browse the menu. I mean, that's so I'm a little more to the typing in the search part of the functionality. And I did use the widgets to put on a cascading menu on there, so I liked that for a while until I rebooted, and then the icon grew to over half the size of the screen, it seemed like, and I couldn't have that sitting there, so I decided, what the heck. But when that thing started popping up over and over again, I couldn't seem to get it to stop, even though I deleted a program or two that I thought might be causing it, but no go. It didn't happen. So I went back to Cinnamon. But I made Cinnamon look better than I think I've ever made it look before. It's using a dark theme I downloaded, and I'll show you that in a minute here. all I got with that. So with that said, let's go to the desktop and I can start talking about situations that I've been discussing here. We are on Cinnamon desktop. Cinnamon. Doesn't look like cinnamon until you click the menu button, but yeah, there you go. There, see, cinnamon. Yeah, see, it's cascading. That's what I like about cinnamon. Cascades out like that. Oh yeah, how you make a pseudo user. Now when you first log into Debian, when you install it, if you install it with putting root passwords in and then your username, like I did, your user doesn't automatically have pseudo privileges when it comes on, which is problematic for you. Because then you either revert to either putting sudo in, or you have to go to root user and turn on and use sudo. But you don't want to do that either because that has other complications and problems. So the first thing you're going to have to do whenever you install Debian is probably you're going to have to make your user a pseudo user. Pseudo user. You open up your terminal like this and you log in as your sudo, which usually you just put sudo in there. You have to put in here. You have to put in the password you put in for your root user. And then when you get this number sign in front of it after your name, that means you're now logged in as a root user. It means you don't have to put sudo in front of nothing as everything, but you have to be careful because it could cause problems if you mess up. I mean, you can easily screw up your system. Well, I wouldn't say easily, but it is easy to actually do something if you do something the wrong way. Well, let's put the path in first because you can do this in root by root too. Because root, oh yeah, root has its own home directory. So you can do that by changing to root. And then you're in your root home directory. You put an A there, then it will show all the hidden files. LSA -A. Now in some systems, when you're in the root directory, you have a file called .bash_profile. That's the one you want to use for this. But in Debian, it's .bashrc, which is what you want to do. Now you enter the same command that I showed you last time in there. So nano bashrc, and then you add this path here in there, which I've already done in my system. That's why I'm able to use IDs without having to enter in user/sbin every time. Now what I've read is that it should be there, but for some reason it isn't. I don't know why. So you have to physically add this part in to your root directory. If you have sudo privileges, you can go to the root directory and do sudo nano and then the /root/.bashrc to get there. And you can edit it straight away that way. Anyway, that's how you actually change it in there. And the reason you do that is because you want the add user and the sbin directories mainly for system programs that would require normally a pseudo user privilege. So what happens is when you type in sudo -say add user -help, it's a good test for it, that it will pop up easily. It'll go through the normal routine and it'll show up with this in the root directory. But if you type it in without sudo, it just shows up as there's no such program listed. which is pretty much what you want to happen in that case. So only people who have sudo access to it can even have access to know the program's even there to use. So that's mainly why you want to put it there instead of in your normal home directory's bash rc file, or in some other cases your bash underline profile file in other systems. So anyway, that's what that's for. Now we're going to, what you need to do here though to set it for sudo is, now that you're in root directory, you can use add user. So you add user, your name, substitute of course in your own or whatever name you're trying to give sudo privileges to, and sudo. It will give a response that your sudo's been added to that thing. Here's the part I forgot about last time. Basically you have to log out of your user and log back in for it to take effect. Once you do that, it's in. Like I've already taken out the rick out of my sudoers file. You can see down here I got root and sudo, and I've commented out my name, and yet I still have sudo access. So if I go sudo and user help, then I get my sudo password in there, and I get the help system. So yeah, now see how it works. Now if I just type in add user help, it says I don't know any command like that, which is what you pretty much want to have happen. So that's the function of those two that I added right there. Okay, so that takes care of those two items that I sort of nuanced to a better solution. The other things I forgot to tell you about was, or didn't forget actually, I just kind of semi-learned these things as I was going along installing Debian, that it actually is more than just the sudo and the add user commands that need to be added in the sbin directory to get to operate correctly. I noticed when I had a problem using terminal, in that if you notice last time I pressed Control T, nothing happened, and yet I know I put a Control T key function on the terminal. Now this seems to be a peculiarity of Cinnamon in Debian, not Cinnamon Linux Mint. Cinnamon Debian. I never encountered this before until I installed Cinnamon on Debian. But yeah, what happens is that when you go to preferred applications, you have to put right here on console or whatever text or terminal editor you're going to use, terminal emulator you use. For some reason this was blank. Now for it to work, when you log terminal command to work, this has to have some in there. So yeah, that's the only option I had on here. So I plugged it in. Bada bing, bada boom, I can do it now. When I hit Control T, the whole thing pops up. And that's another issue you need to fix. And so far, I think, so you need to change this so you have a console that pops up, or whatever installed terminal emulator you use. That's what I'm using. Now the next thing I want to go over is how to install non-free software, because that's what I needed to do on my this. I'll tell you a little bit about how I got the Wi-Fi to work. Wi-Fi is called non-free software, and the first time I installed this, I tried to install it on here and had problems. It was in the middle of the night. I was tired, and when it came to this part, I just said, forget it. and I installed Debian, Linux Mint Debian on there because I knew it'd work, and I knew I needed a working computer by the next day, middle of the night. So, and I need to get some sleep, and I was tired, so I installed Linux Mint Debian because I knew it'd work out of the box, you know. So I did. But when I tried to install Debian, it had this problem with non-free. It didn't even tell me what I needed. It just said something about non-free software. So I don't have money. I don't have time to go find non. It didn't tell me what I needed to get. So forget it. So, but this time when I used a net installer, like I pointed out in the last video, when I used a net installer, it told me more information. It said it needed more non-free software. I said, non-free software, this one too? But it lists out the packages it needed. So I thought, well, I'll do some searching on it, figure out how to get these if I can. So then I went on the internet, did a search, found out that all you have to do is just add some commands to the current source list file for the repository information, and bada bing, bada boom, you can get it. Now you can do this either graphically or you can do it on the command line. Okay. Now if you want to do a command line, use sudo, not sudo nano, or whatever your text editor choice is there, command line text editor, and sudo nano, etc. Apt source list. Nope. Sources list. There you go. Sources list. Now here you see about contribute non-free, all of those. Yeah, that's what you have to do. What you get when I added this part to it on the end of each one of these. Probably didn't need to add it to the source files. Probably just add to these and been fine. The 3 Debian files. Deb files, not the Deb source files. And then what happens is I save this file like this. Now I'm going to erase these because you can erase them after you're done and you got stuff. You don't need to do that, but anyway. I'm just going to leave that as is for now. And you can do it that way. Now you can edit those and add those lines, those contribute non-free on the end of each line in there, or just deb files. You don't have to do it for all the lines, just deb files. And I don't even think you have to do it for the deb source file for this to work. And or you can add them all if you want to, your choice. So you do that, or you also access this graphically by going to menu. This is Synaptic. That's a Synaptic Package Manager installed. Which one it is after you get your pseudo file, obviously corrected. Okay, so once you get Synaptic Package Manager up and running, then you go to Settings, Repositories. You see your repositories there. And you'll see the first one, there's Debian. And you see I've already got it sitting there, non-free contrib main. Main's the main one you want on there. You want to keep that there, but you add in contrib and non-free to the list. And yeah, on each one. Normally I contrib to the end of it like this here. Contrib and non-free. End of each one of these deb files. I'm going to release those just so you get an idea of it. Erase those, just leave main there. because I'm done with the non-free stuff for now, and it's actually good practice to take those back out after you finish using them, so you don't accidentally install some from non-free software. Because some non-free software is kind of, yeah, that's what I learned. Non-free doesn't mean you have to shell out money for it. Which is what I thought of this initially when I saw non-free. I gotta buy this stuff. No, it just means it's proprietary software, which means it's got copyrights on it, which means they can do what they want. They can yank it out, they can make it no longer available, whatever. By the goodness of their hearts, they're making it available for you now. And Debian doesn't tend to like, you know, I mean, this is not enabled out of the box. Out of the box, you don't have your non-free software enabled. So, yeah, if you want non-free software, you have to enable it yourself by going here and putting contrib and non-free on the end of each of these lines. And so I added it on to the end of each line. And on the end of each of these lines in my file, so I'm going to take it off the end of each of these lines. Just like this. Now, oops, main. Leave main in there because that's like the main thing, right? And this is what's going to happen probably now. Should say it's got updates. Should say it's going to update itself. Which I can do that here. Just by going sudo apt update. Thinking about it. Oh, that's it, huh? Okay. Now, just because I'm not sure if I trust the, I'm going to go ahead and look at sourceless file. And it's exactly as I would want it to be, exactly as bad. Just main on the end of each one. Good job, Rick. Okay, so yeah, sudo update after that. If it doesn't do it automatically after you get back out of that, sudo apt upgrade and you upgrade. And there you go, the upgrades. Everything's there. Everything's done. Today's was upgrade my system, you Windows users. It's one of the things I love about Linux is the easy to upgrade systems. Every once in a while you might have an issue with it, but rarely. Rarely. Usually just upgrades everything automatically. It just keeps you secure. Any holes are patched right away. And just beautiful. And it upgrades all the programs on your system at the same time. So you don't have all these annoying upgrade me popping up all the time. Good thing about Linux is your package managers, what's called package managers. And one of the reasons why I stuck with Linux, I started using it back in 2011, I think, 2010, I think it was, or somewhere in there. Anyway, I'll tell you that whole story another time. So that was our exploration into Debian. Hopefully this will be the final Debian video I have on this for a while. sure everybody out there's going to move on to something else, because I have lots of things I want to talk about. Lots of things I want to go over, but those will be for future times, I suppose. Job security, if you want to call it that. Well, this isn't really a job, it's a hobby. And so, more power to Debian, I guess. I got Debian on my system now, and I like it pretty much once I finally get all these little issues worked out and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll have fun using Debian, won't we? And I like the look of it. I like the look of KDE. If you like KDE Plasma, I hadn't done some Google issue in there. They call that Google, I'll probably still be using it, because I really expected to use it for a while until that popped up and ruined it. I couldn't stop it, so I go back to Cinnamon, because I installed both at the same time when I installed it on the thing. Cinnamon was a backup at the time, but now it's backed up, so that's what I'm using. Also, I installed, I saw DM Lite over the SCC, the thing that KDE saw, which I thought was ugly. I don't know why it's such an ugly login screen for that. But I really didn't like that, so I installed the normal one. So that's all for now. I have a new tagline now, because I think, well, I want all the computers on Linux, because I think that'd be the best thing for the world. I know some people, because then other programs like QuickBooks, stuff like that, would make Linux-based systems. For a long time, that's the main reason I stuck with Windows for so long, is because I had to have QuickBooks, because I was a bookkeeper, my profession. And a lot of people use QuickBooks for their software, so I had to have it available for me to use. The only place I run is Windows and Mac. I didn't have a Mac either, so I had to have Windows. But yeah, so Linux for everyone. So now my tagline is may the Linux force be with you. I'm a kind of a Star Wars fan and a Star Trek fan and all the science fiction things. Obviously, I'm a science fiction author, so space opera primarily. If you're interested in that, you can check out my website at rlcopple.com and check out my fantasy and science fiction artworks. So until next time, may the Linux force be with you. Bye.